And we're rolling. C1x development, day 17. It's crazy, I've only coded this for 17 days. I guess I had a couple days before I started streaming. Where I got kind of the initial app structure built out. But all right. I don't remember where we left off. Pull up the list here. All right, so the pro comparisons I was going to save until next time. Detailed view, that one will save. That task, the game plan, I might discuss that on stream. I don't know if I'm going to go through my process of figuring out how that's going to look, because that's just going to be me doing a lot of brainstorming and writing notes down. Not really coding or building the app. But so we had the support page, and then adding the add a course feature. Okay. I don't have my phone sitting right next to me, so let's start with the support page. And then for the add a course, I want to just pull up the old version of C1x on my phone, and because there were aspects of how that navigation worked that I really liked. So I want to not copy it, but replicate some aspects of it. One big thing that I liked being that if you were to go to the courses view in the original app, it just took you straight to the add a course view. The feature that most people are going to be using in C1x when it comes to courses is adding a course. Once you've added a course, there's probably not going to be a ton of reordering, deleting, etc. I could make the global list on that view too. I'll have to think about that. I want as little friction as possible for adding courses. This view will obviously still exist. There will still be the ability to click on courses and view them and edit and delete and etc. Did I build in the edit view? I did. Cool. Does that exist right now? Did I click on easy when that happened? Yeah, okay. So that's mostly working, but I think I'm going to have this immediately navigate to a just real quick add a course view that's going to look something like this. I already had this view kind of built out, but I got to figure out how this is going to change. Make it as simple as possible, make there as few views as possible for courses in general. But yeah, I'm going to look at the old version first. So instead right now, let's start working through some of these support items. So the first one was just making sure that the scorecard view includes totals for par and strokes. So scorecard, that's not going to be keeping score during a round. Or is it? Is this what I intended? Total par and strokes. Should add an additional note here. Includes totals for par and strokes. So I think what my thought was here was on this view, when I'm actually displaying round information, to have a little view here that says total par, total strokes, and that's just going to go hand in hand with what the score actually was for the round. So let's pull up that file first. Round display. Round information. Where is, so on scorecard, that's where I have this. That's update round score. On single round calculations, do I have a calculate round score? I do. Calculate single round score. So we're going to want to loop that in. I already have this file imported up here, right? No, do I not? Round display calculations. Did I include a single round score? I did not. Okay. Does this one include a single round calculations? It does. I don't know if it works that way. I don't know if it works that way. I'm going to want to calculate total par 2, which is going to be unique to this. Sorry, I've got a window open. They should really be their own functions. So let's just make new ones here. Single round calculations, so calculate. No, dang it. Calculate round display score. Round display round score. A little wordy, but all right, and then int calculate total par for round. That's perfect. All right, and then int calculate total strokes for round. Okay. So those are going to be our functions here. And then right now I'll just put these above the scorecard. So here let's go 10. Let's do another 10. And then let's I want them to be in a row. So let's go row, children, like so. And then we'll have text. We'll see how this looks initially. I may end up adjusting, but this one is going to be par, calculate total par for round, and then pars here is going to be round pars. Round index. I need that too? Yes. Round index. All right, and then this one's going to say score. Calculate round display round score. This is going to be this. And then user whole scores is this. But not just that. We're going to say score, and then in parentheses, I want the strokes total. Calculate total strokes for round. And then that can be this. Throw that in parentheses. All right, so now it doesn't like something I did now. I just need a comma. And then I want to space these evenly. Space evenly. Let's update. Didn't quite work. I did introduce some new functions though, so let's refresh. Yeah, it looks like they're going to show up here. The font is definitely going to need to change. Font size. Font size 30. Try that. Another thing I'll end up implementing in the app at some point is some custom fonts. I do kind of like this font for the header. Asimov is one that I'm using in Throw with the Pros. Maybe a little bit big. Maybe just a little bit. Let's just give this a try. Just for fun. Okay. Does it look better if the total is what's in parentheses? I think it might, right? So, for example, I'm going to leave this and comment it out just in case I want to quickly go back to it. Like so. But doing this and then this inside of the parentheses. I think that looks better. I think I prefer that at the moment. The space evenly thing is kind of weird just because the two lines of text are different sizes. So let's see if this looks better. Let's do this as a center. Let's throw a sized box, width 15. Let's throw another one of these down here, and then let's throw a spacer in the middle. Let's see if that just looks more center. So that's what it looks like right now. That looks substantially worse. Substantially. Maybe I don't know why I was thinking that was an appropriate fix. That's a little bit better. Maybe make this just a little bit bigger. Yeah, I do think that's better than what I originally had, at least. Okay, so par and score, and then importantly, I also want to include this on the round finished page. So let's go to the round finished page. Can find where that is. Course here. So this is going to be 10. I'm going to add this, and then we're going to do another height 10. Just because I'm looking at it, let's go adjust this with our brackets like we had been doing previously. Same thing here. Lovely. Okay, and then we just need to update these. So round finished, I don't have any calculations currently, so I actually don't mind just copying this file in. Stat keeping, don't think I have one of those yet, so let's do a copy, paste. This is actually round display calculations is what I want. So stat keeping round display calculations. Because these views are going to have a lot of similar functionalities, and I don't mind. I just didn't want to overlap the calculations I was doing for single rounds and then for that all rounds view. I didn't want those to be separate. But round finish, round display, going to be very similar. Probably, do I just want them to be identical? Is there a reason for them not to be identical? The only reason I can think of initially is that the back buttons in both need to work differently. That is an argument for doing so. I don't want the round finish screen to have the delete button. I want the round display one too. Leave them as separate for now, I think. But okay, so we copied that in. We'll have the functions now working, but now we just need to update these. So this is going to be round information whole parse in lieu of this. And then let's go grab the user whole scores one. And that's what we'll use for these. Okay, so now round finish should have the same thing. Beautiful. So we got par total, strokes total for individual rounds. So this is done. What are we at right now? 42 out of 59. Yeah, okay. Click that out. There we go. All right, and then the next one was going to be support menu. And I remember at the end of the last stream trying to decide where I want that to go, and throw it the pros. It's really a question of layout on the main menu. And throw it the pros, the support menu is just an icon in the top right here. I think with C1x there's a lot fewer settings, so it makes sense to just have a single settings view. I don't know if the stats button is going to stay up here. This debug graphic will go away when the app is released, so that won't be there, but I think instead of having a support menu, that'll just be the settings. Settings and support will be the same thing. A lot of apps I think are built that way. Not uncommon. Eliminates some confusion, I think, around what the support menu actually is anyways, which is probably good. So, all right. First thing that I had on there was getting in the infrastructure for email support. So for that one, I am going to just go directly to my code for throw with the pros. I'll make it into a new file even. Email functionality Dart. And then I'm just going to go copy. The code I already had in here because it's going to be more or less identical. Definitely no sense in doing that from scratch, and I do like the way that I have it working now in Throw It the Pros. That already went through a few iterations of email support in that app. So I won't do anything differently here. Copy JSON style presets. I'm going to have another file in here called URL functionality, and I'm just going to go ahead and copy some of this code into here too. I have this all in this is a small enough amount of code. Let's delete URL functionality, and then let's rename this emails and URLs. And then I think I might start with just copying and pasting this in. We've got mail to foundation. Let's just do a little copy here and paste. Literally 0 errors. Trying to think if there's anything on this block of code that I don't really want to share. I don't think so. Links to terms of use, that's just Android, and all of the links in here can already be accessed through Throw Out the Pros, right? Yeah. Email address already works when you do note to developer. All right, yeah, there's nothing super important in here. So foundation, this, website homepage, privacy policy. Let's remember where I have the C1x at. See if this is right. It is. So I had an old privacy policy in here for the original C1x. And I'm just going to use that for now. Same thing I'm doing with Throw Out the Pros. So I'll go ahead and update these since I'm copying it over. Android and Apple terms of use are not going to change. Apple review page is going to change. Let's just comment that out for now. Was I not requesting reviews in this? I must have had that somewhere else. Okay. Landing page, easy change. Android review page, I really didn't have anything there. All right, launch a website homepage, that's fine. Contact developer support. So here we're just going to change these to be C1x support. C1x. Okay, so those all work. Android launch, iOS launch, request global courses add. Yeah, nothing specific to Throw Out the Pros in there. Same thing here. C1x website landing page. Can use the correct app name at least. Terms of use. All right, so that's it. Mail to is done. So that is our email functionality. Email client support to the app, that's done. Okay. No Apple review page, that's the only one that's not done, and that's just because the app isn't launched yet. So there's no, can't leave a review on something that isn't available. But that is something that I will go ahead and we're going to put that on the to add later just because it's going to have to happen after launch and not for testing. Implement app review request identical to how it is set up in Throw with the Pros. Okay. Oh, come on. All right, so we're back to general. We got email functionality in, so let's save that. support links to the settings page to include note to developer, join email list, privacy policy, and terms of use. So let's go to, let's close all these out. Let's go to the main menu and grab a quick button. And then let's go to settings. And then underneath this toggle, let's go const sized box height 20. And then let's add 4 of these guys. I guess let's format one of them real quick. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so the buttons were note to developer, join email list, note to developer, join email list, and then it was terms of use and privacy policy. All right, and now when I was actually calling these buttons in Throw It the Pros, I think it was just calling the functions. I think that's more or less all I was doing. So note to developer, contact developer support is our function. Contact developer support. Must have automatically done that for me. All right, join email list. That was request add to mailing list. Terms of use is it launch terms of use? Privacy policy is launch privacy policy. And then we're going to add one more button here just to link to my website. Let's just call it other projects for now. Launch website homepage. Does that launch website homepage? That is my website. Okay. So let's hit a quick save on that. Do we have room for all that? Yeah. So this will probably end up being, maybe it'll end up being a list. I don't know. Well, we've got all the buttons and they work, so this is done. Support buttons are in, functionality's in. All right, now we're on to add courses. Is there anything else that's real easy for quick implementation? Man, this list is getting real short real fast, which is cool. It is cool. All right, add a course. Let me grab my phone real quick. Launch the old C1x here. For anybody who hasn't seen it, this is what the main page looks like in the old one. Intending for the new one to look a little bit better. But, so here the button is just add a course. And then I had a separate button for course list. Yeah. Trying to think of how I want this to look. So right now I've got a button that says courses. I think we stick with that. I'm not going to change the label of the button. Do I want this to navigate directly to add a course? I'm inclined to say yes. Though it is nice having just the course list here. Like the simple thing is I just proceed with what I have here, which is I click add a course, that takes you to the next view. Global course list is the list that you can add from. Otherwise, you just have your whole course list here. You can reorder the courses. Have I built that out? Does that actually work? I don't think so. Not yet. Not important, but not built out yet. My concern is that it's just not clear. Like from this page, I want it to be so obvious that this is how you add a course. And so in that aspect, I like the button just saying add a course, you clicking it and you are already at the view. But then where does all of this go? I don't want a separate button and a separate view for course management. I want courses to all be tied within the same thing, just because for a lot of people, they're going to go, adding courses in C1x is going to be so fast. This is the extent of it. I'm probably going to get rid of even the 1,000 rated for a while, so it's going to be number of holes and then adjusting the par for each hole. It's going to automatically start on hole 18, so if you're adding in a course that is a 18-hole par 3 course, all you have to do is type the course name in and hit submit, and you're done. I want it to be that easy. So the hope is that most people would go in, they'd add, the handful of their local courses that they typically play. That would take them 5 minutes or less, and then they're done and they never have to add courses again. Unless they're going to play a new course or a tournament and they want to keep stats at or something. Which is great. I'm intending to use it for that too, but it's not necessarily a view, I guess, that people are going to have to come back to a ton. Is what I'm getting at. Which makes me wonder, like, is a global course even worth it? Worth having in this app? Maybe. It's not necessarily harming anything. I just worry that it's overcomplicating how simple the app actually is. Which is a weird thing to do. I've never done that with Throw with the Pros, and sometimes I regret that, is just adding so many different features in that I feel like it make it hard to use. Like the global list is in there, it makes certain courses available, it works, but is it distracting from the purpose of the app? It might be. It would be a new step for me to remove a feature from an app that I've already added in. Not something I've done before. All great questions to ask a group of beta testers that are willing to give me feedback. So maybe I leave it in for now and I try to get some input on that. It is hard to find beta testers though too. Like I have a list of them. I had a big list for Throw with the Pros, but in terms of actually getting feedback from people, I even tried to incentivize people by paying them, and I got so little feedback from Throw with the Pros. Most of it was unsolicited. There were a few people that did reach out that I was very thankful for. But I sent out like organized surveys that were pretty quick and easy, and I don't know if I ever got a response to this, to the like 40 beta testers that I sent it out to. Anywho, hard to get good feedback. There are things I like about making it go straight to the add a course view, but I just can't initially justify it in my mind. What I kind of like the idea of doing right now is Getting rid of the global course, making the add a course button really big and central here. And then maybe just making that a popover, just so it's not a whole separate view. That limits the scope a little bit of what I'm able to put in it, but probably not enough that it actually detracts from the usage of the app. Man, all right. We're done with settings and emails for now. Let's go to the courses view, and I'm going to leave global courses in. I was just about to remove it. We're going to leave it in. Add a course instead, I wanted to pop up a separate view really does make sense, because these are already popovers. This is going to go to a new view. That might be confusing for a popover. A new view is probably going to be better. Man. When I'm adding courses right now, whole averages and difficulty factor are something I'm putting in. The reason that I want to leave 1,000 rated in there is that I think there's some stuff I could do with stat visualization in the future if I have an idea of what the difficulty is of the course. I think that might be important. I think UDisc has kind of realized that, and I think that's why they're implementing their ratings. It's additional data for them to gather. It would allow me to generate my own rating system and display that to users, which is something I already have in Throw It to Pros. It's not even my own rating system, it's the PDGA's rating system. Calculations work slightly differently, but it's based on the same scale. It would be nice to give users that feedback during their rounds if they want it. But in order to do that, I need more information on the courses than just whole pars, which I can do with that 1,000 rated number. That is the kicker. Because that is one thing that no app does currently, including UDisc, is, screw the UDisc ratings. Can you see what your PDGA round rating would have been for a casual round? That's what I would like to get to. And I know how to get to it. It's just the difficulty of... Because I get complaints about that in Throw It to Pros. Throw It to Pros has the same thing here, just 1,000 rated. What score would shoot 1,000 rating? All you have to do is hit the buttons and it updates. But there is an aspect of this, and I can certainly understand it. I coded it in. Of course, I know exactly how it works and what it's there for. That's certainly, from the feedback I've gotten, not been clear to users. And so it's trying to implement that better, more intuitively. I want this whole thing to just work simpler. But you need a course list. You need to be able to see what courses you have available in the app, what courses you've added. You need to be able to add a course. And those two things are going to be big enough on their own that I don't think I want it to be all in one view. What I did in the original C1x is that going to the course button went to the add a course view, and then there was a button here in the top right that said course list. I do think this is important because this is going to be the first thing, for the most part, that users interact with in this app. To actually use it, they're going to have to add their first course. And with that thought in mind, it makes sense for this just to be the add a course view. So what that would entail is me not changing this view, but interjecting the add a course view in first. Just in the navigational workflow, global list would be a button at the bottom of that, and then on the course list, that would be its own. That could then just be, that couldn't be a popover because you have to be able to click on the courses themselves. I'm running through lots of different layouts in my head, and I'm hoping one's gonna just stand out to me and be like, yep, that's the one, but it hasn't happened yet. I did really like the way that this was set up. Add a course list. I think I might roll with this for right now. I know that the way I have it set up here is how it's set up in Throw It to Pros for the most part, and I know that that has been a point of contention for a lot of users. So as simple as I think it is to me, I think I have to change it. So here's what that's going to entail. On the courses button, I want this to say courses with a little plus on it. Like this. Okay. And then I want this to navigate to add course name. So let's reload here. This goes to add a course. If we go to that view, this has our back button, and then I want a button in the top right. So we got our back button, spacer, this button, const size box, height, what are we using here, 15. This will say course list, courses name, like so. I want a button at the bottom that says global list. Underneath row, that should go here. Global list, global courses name. Okay. And then, so let's refresh that again. So that's where this is going to be accessed from, courses plus. If we go to the course list, these buttons are going to go away. Add a course and global list. So let's go to the courses view. And for right now, let's just comment these buttons out, like so. And if we go to the global list, okay, so then the only caveat should be that from the global list, when we add a course, well, no, actually, I don't think I need to change anything, because that's just add global to cur. This just needs to pop context. So this just needs to match the back button, because that's where that's where I want it to go. Yeah. Let's give that a quick test real quick. Give that a quick test real quick. All right, so current course list is Fort and Easy. If we go to the global list, let's add Blue Mountain, add to list. That did not pop anything. Same context, that's why. Dang it. Courses context. Well, no, what's the issue here? Okay, so let's do add course name. That should reset our course list as well, right? Fort Golds and Easy. Yeah. All right, so then if we go to global list, add Blue Mountain, then it pops us to add a course. If we go to course list, it's there. Go back. Okay. Is this better? I think so. Let's say, instead of course list, let's make it say my courses. And then I think if we add a course. My courses is hard to get to there. It's annoying to get to. Although when you're starting around, the courses are obviously going to be right here as well. So maybe it's not. Maybe this is fine. It's different at least. It's different from what I had in Throw It to Pros, and it's easier to see where you add a course. So instead of global list, maybe we call this like preset courses. Preset courses. preset makes sense. Does that make sense? I'm looking up alternative ways to say preset. Because I'm also going to need a button at the bottom here that says submit. You know? This can probably go up here, and then I'm thinking I would make it substantially smaller. It's probably not going to happen just yet, but yeah. I think it's confusing right now too because these buttons all look the same, but we will ideally make them look a bit different. I think this is the idea though. All right, so change courses button on main menu to navigate to and add a course view. That's done. I kind of like the courses plus, just you're going to add a course. Does the plus look better in front of courses? Take a look at it. I don't think so. Whoa, what did I do there? There we go. Singular. Now I like courses. All right, so we're gonna roll with that right now. That goes to add a course. These all kind of work. Preset courses, back. Okay. If you add a preset course, it does go back to the add a course view, which is great, and then shows up in the course list, which is great. So this is done. Create new add a course view, like in OG C1x. This was pretty perfect. That is more or less what this already looks like. The one exception to that is we can go and start to adjust some of these. Adjust the way this looks. So text here, we're going to get rid of this. This is instead going to say type course name. Okay. The number of holes needs to be a toggle. No, not a toggle. Needs to look like this, essentially. And that is just icon buttons that I'm using here. Because the original C1x was coded in Swift, so it's a different code. I can't quite look at that. Incrementer, is that what it was called for switch? Not switch. Swift. Stepper. There is a stepper and Flutter. That comes with, okay. Noted. And it's just called a stepper. So number of holes, 18. And then instead of this Cupertino picker, we are instead going to have a stepper. Oh, this is not progress through a sequence of steps. All right, so this is not what I thought was going to happen, although this does look kind of nice for other usage in the app. I know I'm doing all this off screen. I don't want to add additional buttons to hit though. Okay, so this is not going to be a stepper. Instead, it's going to be this row. Whoa. And instead throw this here. Yeah, all right. So we got remove. And are these in a row? Do I need to copy the row? I 100% do. I need to copy the row and not just the buttons. It's not what I did up here. Like this. Okay, now tab that out once. Let's make these substantially smaller. On pressed, if so this is going to be number of holes, this is remove new course number of holes. So if new course number of holes is greater than 6, set state, new course. Course index for 1,000 rated. A score for 1,000 rated. I see, but I don't need to do that because this is already an integer. Yeah. So I should be able to just get rid of this then. All right, and this one is 25, and then if, how many holes am I going to allow? Probably 36 is going to be the max number of holes available. 36 is what I'm maximizing there. So this will be pretty easy to maintain within this. If new course number of holes is less than 36, set state new course number of holes plus equal to 1. And then we're going to get rid of this. So instead of this scrolly guy, now we're going to hit save and instead get this. I think it looks cleaner. It might look good actually if they went next to each other. They might. They just might. Meaning, I throw this in here. And then I wonder if I can just throw an outline around it. If I throw a container, child, don't do that, row, children, and then we throw, because here I can add a decoration, box decoration. Instead of an image, I can add a border. So this is kind of what I'm going for here. Throw this in, tab that out, and then under children, we will copy the icon buttons. Just because there's not really a degree of separation here between the text where we say number of holes and then these two buttons. And so I'm going to try and wrap the buttons in their own border. And I think that'll make it look quite a bit cleaner. So no image, we're instead going to go border. Doesn't like this. Oh, isn't a cost, that's fine. Border all, color black, width 2. Color, width, style, stroke align. I don't think I need those. How does that look? That is closer. I think I kind of want each of them to be within their own. Which probably will look quite a bit cleaner anyways. Okay, so let's instead do this. Icon button container. And then I want to copy this. Another container, and instead we're going to take this icon button and throw it here. And then we're going to delete the whole row. Text, icon button container, icon button container. Okay, and then what I need, the bracket, okay. Let's go ahead and format these. That didn't do anything, okay. It says no formatting needed, definitely not true. Definitely not true. There we go. All right, child, icon button here, Definitely doesn't like something that I'm doing here. Is this where the row's at? That's where children's at. Container. So children should be there. Row should be here. Alright, something is slightly messed up, but that's okay. I do still have an error. Oh, I got an extra guy. Okay. Row. So children should be here. Elevated button. There's that row. There's the center. I'm missing something. That's center. Alright, so it's saying this is center. And then safe area. So do I just have way too many? Clearly I do. That's for the children. And then we got the row here. Center. Doesn't like this. This should probably be my clue. Column. Okay. Yeah, I've got something messed up here. This stuff not being tabbed out properly is definitely throwing me for a loop. Size box. Height. Text field. Set state on change. Text field size box. That's right. Text is right. All right, container. Oops. On pressed. Icon button. Container, yes. Next container. This needs to be out one. So is that where that row's at? It is. That's where this row's at, and then children, and then 3 parentheses to safe area. So here. Oh, so I do not want this. Okay, progress, we got rid of that one. So we've got center, we've got row, this, and then we should have a children here, 3 parentheses to safe area. Clearly we don't like something here. So this is container, up here, parentheses, bracket, parentheses. Bracket, parentheses. Oh, so close. Scaffold. And then a bracket, and then stateful builder. Yeah, that's what I have. Haha, alright. Painful, but we got it. Well, let's save it. Yeah, that looks a little unusual. Looks a little unusual. Alright, so how to make this look a little bit better. Border, box shadow, shape, border all, style, stroke line. Size box width 20. So it's really just the overlap there, and why the spacing is so big. Icons dot remove, it really does give them a lot of space there. Maybe we make shape box shape dot is that better? I have no idea. Let's go to the other one. Could probably be slightly misconstrued. Decoration. Let's go do this instead. I'm using the below code to draw one around two separate icon buttons. Instead, want these to be a wrapped in a capsule border with a narrow visible divider in between. Alright, so we're just going to take these, copy and paste. This is a great task for ChatGPT. See what its thoughts are. So this is what it's suggesting. Let's see if this looks terrible or if it looks good. I don't really know. That's pretty good. That's pretty close to what I wanted. Cool. Oh, it is so good at things like that. All right. Space. As long as you prompt it a bit, it's fantastic. I want no padding in this though. Make them a little bit smaller. And I kind of think I want the border width to icon size is 25. So let's try this. How come the default have padding, doesn't automatically stretch. Transit height or vertical divider. So the suggestion is to instead do this. Yeah, it sure as heck didn't do it. Two. Why isn't it showing? I don't know. Text. buttons given in Flutter. 8 on all sides, really? So this should technically be 39, or no? Was it 25, 16, so that's 41. Yeah, it's pretty close. 2. Not quite working though, because why? That width is 2. Do I need to add 2 on all sides? Is 45 excessive? Still not doing it. 50. 50 does it. 49 also does it, although I don't know why. I do think this looks a little bit better though. All right, so then we're going to go to our courses view, and I want an expanded list like so. So we're going to grab this, we're going to copy and paste it right here. This is not going to look great. All right, so our for loop here, we're going to have, and this I do think I'm going to match fairly closely. To how I had it in the original C1x. So we're going to have a row. I need this to indent. Thank you. Tab this out. And then it's going to be text. So let's copy this in, tab it out. This will be whole equals 0. Whole is less than new course number of holes. Do I have this within a set state? I do. Okay. Whole plus plus. Whole plus 1. Par. So here I need to track whole pars. New course pars is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. All right, type course name, number of holes, new course pars dot remove last, new course pars add 3. I think that should be easy enough. And then here, this is going to be new course pars whole. And then I'm going to basically grab this exact same thing here. This container, We're going to throw it next to these. There we go. Oh, dang. Like so. All right, icon size here, let's make these 20. Lowering only by 5, so I think we should only lower the divider by 5 as well. And then this is going to be parse. So then I think the question is just going to be, what is my par limit here? I can't do that down here. Am I going to allow par 2s? Am I going to allow par 5s? Or par 6s? I technically am in my stat calculations. So we should here as well. All right, so remove if new course pars whole is greater than 2, set state minus equal to 1. Let's copy this. And then down here, if new course pars whole is less than 6, new course pars whole plus equal to 1. Refresh. Axis vertical. On courses, was I wrapping anything in a center? No. Expanded is currently within a column, which is wrapped in a center. I wonder why it is so offset. We can interject this in here. Main axis alignment center. Okay, that does help. Let's add a spacer here. Size box width 20. And then after each row, I want a sized box height 15. I do not want parentheses around the whole. Okay. I do want this to be substantially bigger. Which I think just means that I want to wrap the whole thing in this expanded list view. All right, I'm going to redo something I did previously. Preset courses, I'm going to relocate back down below. Next to this. I actually want it to go above it. And then, can I do this really easily? Yes. Perfect. Just center them. Okay. Why are there only 4 holes? Oh, greater than 0. Greater than 6. No less than 6 holes. Yeah. So this adds holes, and then we can remove them. Beautiful, like so. Okay. We're going to add a box below this so they're not so close to the bottom of the screen. Yeah. 30 is a bit big. Let's go 20. So right now I just have this scrolling list in the middle of it, and I'm thinking that I want it to take up the whole screen and then just have these show at the bottom. Maybe I don't though, maybe I don't. On the expanded, can I refactor? Let's wrap this in a container. All right, that caused all kinds of issues. Maybe I wrap this in a container. Can I get it offset off the... I certainly can. All right. Padding. Insets only. Left 8, right 8. Why isn't this working? That's adding padding to the insides? I see. I want there to be padding around it. So I might want to refactor, wrap with padding only. Yes. Well, that breaks it again though, man. That's what I want, but it doesn't work. All right, so that's a no-go. This is a no-go. If I do this, that's just the interior is the issue. Main axis size min. Doesn't do anything. Let's do a little refresh here real quick. That, of course. I'm just trying to bring the outside borders in just slightly. That's it. And wrapping this in a padding does that, but then the expanded is taking up the full size of the padding, which is not good. And if I wrap the container in the padding, that also doesn't work. So maybe I need to get away from these borders. I can remove widgets. Because there are lots of things that I like about it, but if I make the width really thick, is that... it doesn't really help. Should have just asked ChatGPT a while ago. I'm using this list to let users insert pars for a number of disk off holes. The border extends to the sides of the screen. I need these to be inset slightly, going beyond the bottom of the screen. I need to use that they can scroll down. Huh. Okay, let's try this. No errors. Let's just restart it in case this was a code issue thing. No, it was not. All right. All right, let's see if we can fix the error. Scroll bar. All right, now let's try that again. Go up to the padding right here and paste. Throw a comma in, hit save. So now it has the scroll bar. Okay. That's definitely closer. Definitely closer to what I'm looking for. I would love to make it a little bit bigger, but there's not a great way for me to do that at the moment. go to our task for a second. Create new add a course view like in the original C1x. I have more or less done that. The layout's going to need to be adjusted, but it's close. It is close. The pars work, the number of holes works. I have a scroll bar now. I don't dislike the way that this is laid out. Let's go ahead and tab all this out so this looks how it's supposed to. Thank you. Um, 1,000 rated score I want. Much needed. Make that a little bit bigger. Can I make it even bigger? These should really have the same structure as the number of holes. Let's go copy these real quick. Container, and then container. Was it a row? It was the whole row that so it's not the whole row that I need to copy. It is just these guys. No, it's not even those guys. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I need the outside container. I need to copy that. Then we're going to bring that down here. 1,000 rated. All right, and then instead of this row, we're going to throw a container. This contains a row, and then I just need to copy the logic. So on remove, it's going to be this, this, and then on an add, it's going to be this. And then I can delete this. Can make these not look terrible. Okay. Same thing here. If statement being broken out into 3 separate lines. I don't understand why that's supposed to be commonplace for formatting, but it looks terrible. Okay. I could throw that next to the 1,000 rated. Even. Maybe we try that. So within this row. So I'm thinking for starters, the icon button goes to the left. So let's copy and paste that. Here, we have the text, and then as a part of that row, that's this container. And that's going to go with 4. That's going to go here. Like so. It's a tight fit. Definitely a tight fit. Yeah, you can come in. So maybe we just add a spacer here. 5. Maybe 10. Give it a little bit more room. I don't need as big of a space as I have here. don't need much of one at all. But there is one, and it's going to be tough to get around. Can I... padding. Edge insets all 2.0. I wonder if I force it if it gets smaller. Doesn't seem like it. Constraints, box constraints. That still did not make it any smaller. There's still that spacing. It must just be the row spacing it out. I think that is my only... That must be the only thing that's actually causing this, so... Get rid of those. Maybe make this a little bit smaller. Number of holes, what size is that text? Number of holes is 20, so let's go down to 1,000 rated. We'll make that the same. I think it's a start. I wonder if that should be like a question mark instead of the this question mark. I don't like that one. Question mark outlined. Not gonna update that. Question answer. What does that look like? Help. That's better. Outline. What does outline look like? I think I like just help. Sharp. And then it probably needs to go back to being bigger. Yeah. Let's see if ChatGPT has any input on this. I'm asking the user to input what score would need to be shot on a specific course for that round to receive a GA round rating of 1,000 in a tournament. This is how I'm currently asking. How can I make this more clear? Maybe this is better. It's giving me some kind of error here. Let's reset this all. Is it still giving me an error? Just the asset error. Okay, that's fine. Still just the asset error. What score do you think a 1,000 rated player would show on this course? That's good. I like that better. And I do need a spacer here. Oh, that's not where I wanted the spacer. Down here. Yeah. Still see the top of this. You've got the scroll bar. It's clear that you need to scroll. Really, the only thing I don't like about it is this preset courses button. I think that needs to go somewhere else, and I'm not sure where. Which, again, just leads me to think that it needs to be removed. Space evenly. I think I'll probably roll with this for now. This is good, though. I think this view is a really good start. The scroll bar is something I've not had in previous apps that I think does help clarify it quite a bit. I think this explanation is better. I think the toggles are simpler. Let's get rid of a little bit of extra space up here. I think that's probably a bit too big. That's new course par, so this height, maybe we just make this 10. Yeah, make that a little bit bigger. I like it. I do like it. Number of holes, 20 row. Spacer of 20 there. Maybe we make this 15. Move it up a little bit. Yeah. Make this 15. I think that's pretty good. All right, let's go back to our task one more time. Create new add a course view. This works. Include a button on the new course view to course list and navigate to old courses view from there. That's done. Add entering of 1,000 rated scores for course manual ads. What was I? Add entering of 1,000 rated scores, which is here, for course manual ads. I think that's just what this block is. I think that's all I was going for. So the one thing we don't have currently is the adding a course to the JSON file and saving once submit is pressed. I think that's something I'm going to save for the next stream, but the good news is that's going to be super easy because we're already adding courses in the global list. From this list, we already have all that functionality built in. It just needs to be copied over and slightly modified for adding this information instead of the global course information, which will take a little bit of work, but it should be relatively quick. All right, so if we go look at this, we're at 49 out of 59. So this is the extent now of all of the tasks I wanted to get in before beta testing was done. And really, we're probably not going to do these two. We may not do this one either initially, as in do them for the very first launch of beta testing. So take those 3 out. I think we have 7 things left until C1x is ready for that initial test, which means that should be this week. Intending to still stream quite a bit this week and get all this stuff into it. I do intend to build out the beta testing list a little bit more before I launch it. So that'll give me some time to add in a couple of these things. And then again, I still have this list down here of to add later, which is starting to get into all of the stuff that I envision for kind of the throw at the pros finished product. And there's also going to be element of, this is all functional, but it all kind of looks like crap. So maybe as I'm building out that beta testing list, we'll spend a little time and improve the aesthetics of it. But I think the test version with functionality is going to be done in a week, maybe one extra week for us to launch beta testing. Yeah, and then obviously as beta testing is running, coding's not going to stop. We're going to keep doing regular live streams. Still going to have a ton of stuff to put in the app. I just want to get this very basic functionality into the hands of users, get some initial feedback on it, so that if things need to change, I can change them before I get too far into adjusting aesthetics and adding new features and etc. And I also just want to use it for myself, so that's why I want to get the app to testing. So yeah, we will call it there. Next time we're going to have saving courses once they're added here. I am probably going to implement the icons here for driving stats, putting stats. Some of those I might have to create my own. If I do, that's something I'll do on stream. Initially, it's going to look very similar to what UDisc or PDJ Live would look like. So, but that way we can have your driving, putting stat shown down below, kind of like you would see on PDJ Live, scrambles, OBs, etc. It is going to be kind of tough to do on a phone screen, which is going to make this probably need to be a scrollable list. I would like to keep it in 6 holes in a row of 6 here, so I'll probably end up trying to shrink these a little bit closer together so I can fit in some text here for like D for driving, P for putting. We'll see what else I want to add. I can really do whatever I want to with it. That is important to remember. PDJ Live and UDisc are going to be an okay starting point for their initial layout, but the finished project is likely not going to match them in a lot of ways, and that's intentional because I get to control it this time. So we will call it there. We got course saving, we've got icons for round stats. I've got some tasks in here to kind of calculate stats after each round is submitted, just so I'm taking care of a lot of the workload of stat calculation with each round and not having to do it all at once for, once the user has 100 rounds in the app. I know I talked about that in a previous stream, but we'll start to get that implemented. And then we're about there. Settings view works right now. Does everything it needs to. Doesn't look pretty, but it works. Yeah. We'll call it there for today. Thanks to anybody who finds us after the fact. If you want to be on the beta testing list and you're seeing this after the fact, as long as the app isn't launched, you're probably not too late. So go to the webpage, linked in the YouTube channel. I don't remember if I'm linking it in the video description or not, but it's linked to the YouTube channel. You can reach out via email to the C1x Instagram. Let me know you want to be a part of beta testing. All I need is an email, and I'll keep you in the loop and send all the information to you. I don't think I have anything else. So we'll call it there, and we'll see you in the next one.